Today we're going to be taking a look at General International's combination 6-inch sander and disc sander and 4-inch by 36-inch belt sander. It's a combination benchtop unit. It's fairly compact for what it does. It weighs in at 37 pounds. It does have 2 bolt down locations if you want to bolt it down to your bench for a little more security and stability. And it's got a 4-amp motor, runs off of regular 120 volt wall power. There's no option to convert it to 240 volts. It really doesn't need it with a 4-amp motor anyway. And it's got a 2 1/4 inch dust port on the end right here that you can hook a shop vac up to. So we'll go ahead and take a closer look at all the features this thing has, and then we'll go take it for a spin. So the sander comes with this little work table right here. It's made of aluminum and plastic. It also comes with a miter gauge, which, just to be honest, this is a piece of crap. It's plastic and it's got graduations from 0 to 60 degrees on either side, but it's every 5-degree markings. It's pretty flimsy. I mean, you can see it bends like this, and it's not a T-track on the miter slot. You can set it right in so it can pop right out when you're doing your work. So not the greatest miter gauge. I don't think I'm ever going to use that. And the table itself isn't too sturdy. You can see I can wobble it quite a bit right here. It is adjustable with this thumb screw. You can change the angle that it's at. However, when you change the angle, you also get this. You can see it really starts to diverge from the edge of the sanding disc right here, and you get a wider and wider gap the farther out you get. And this is actually starting to become an unsafe gap because you can actually get fingers down in there, which, you know, you want to gap this under 1/8 of an inch to 1/16 of an inch away from the wheel so you aren't getting your fingers sucked in. It's not a fun day if that happens. It's got an angle gauge right here too, and it's just a sticker that you actually have to put on yourself. So you better get this right. Mine's actually a little bit off because I wasn't looking at it perfectly on from the side when I attached it. So just go ahead and take a square to this, or an angle finder every time you set this up, because this isn't too reliable. Your 2 1/4 inch dust port is right here. This works great. You still get quite a bit of dust overshooting the end of the belt, just because it's taken away a lot of material, but this does help with some collection. On the back side here, you've got a work stop right here that you attach with a 10mm bolt. And this is actually interchangeable with the platform, so you can take the work platform and put it up here, and that's for if you're using the belt more often. You can go ahead and permanently leave that up here instead if you don't really use the disc that much. Right here you've got your tensioning lever. You can see that's how you remove the belt, and then here's your tracking knob, which sends the belt back and forth either way. Right here is your adjustment for the belt position. Take it about a 1/4 turn to a 1/2 turn, and it pops right up, and you can actually tighten it at any angle that you want, between 0 and 90 degrees. And you just tighten it back down. Note on this work stop, I did have to bend it to 90 degrees because it didn't come at a 90-degree angle. And on the front, you've just got your on-off switch, and there's a safety lockout here. If you pull this tab off, you can't turn the tool on, just in case you don't want any unauthorized use. Switching out the belt is pretty easy as well. You just loosen the belt and raise it up a bit. Just makes it a little bit easier. Then you grab that tensioning lever on the far side that I showed you earlier and flip it down, and then just shimmy that belt right off. Once you've got it off, just slide a new one back on. You got to get it over this little rubber stop that cushions the belt platform from the cast iron base. I don't know if you can see this here. I'm not too impressed with the quality of the machining and the materials on this. This roller already has some pitting or spalling or something like that in it. I've had this thing running probably less than an hour total, and you've already got, that was a factory defect, obviously. I haven't had any degradation occur on it, but just overall not the highest quality. Slide that belt right back on. Tracking the belt is pretty straightforward too. I've got it plugged in now. You go ahead and turn it on, and you've got that knob in the back corner. Got it tracked. I adjusted it back and forth more than I needed to just so you could see how it responds. One note on the work platform here, it's got this thumb screw that adjusts, and you can actually remove it. I think I mentioned earlier you can replace the work stop up here with this table. See how this is countersunk right here? That didn't come countersunk. When I got it, the threads on the cast iron base were all messed up, and this thumb screw wouldn't actually go into it. I couldn't get it started. I spent like 5 minutes trying to get this thing started in here. And finally I realized the threads were messed up, so I just took a big drill bit and countersunk it a little bit, and then this went in just fine. But another testament to not the greatest machining, not the greatest finish work on this. The quality is a little lacking in the whole thing. Oh, and you can see here the underside. This is actually metal. These side pieces are plastic, and this is aluminum. This just goes back in like so, and can be tightened down. Now, one thing that's really disconcerting is the gap right here. You know, it's almost up against the disc right here, and then you've got a 1/4 inch gap on this side. I think I mentioned that earlier. Alright, so I've got it plugged in, I've got the shop vac hooked up right here. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on and just use the disc for a little bit, and then I'll turn it off and flip the work table up and use the belt. Here we go. You see there's actually a surprisingly small amount of dust left over here. The vacuum does a pretty good job of getting a good portion of it. And I was being pretty aggressive on this disc, you know, pushing the workpiece into it, and it didn't bog down at all. One thing to note on this, the disc does turn this way, so always keep your work on this side, otherwise you risk the chance of having it flip up from the disc hitting it, coming up on this side. Same way with the belt. You always want to put your workpiece right here and have the belt push it into the stop. Alright, let's take a look at the belt function. Alright, we're all ready to go. I'll start the dust collector. So one thing you can see here on this, let me unplug it first. One thing you can see happening here is this guard is only attached on this side, so it acts as a springboard when you've got the workpiece over here. I'd like to see it attached on both sides. Just a personal preference. You'd have a little bit more effort you'd have to take it off to get your belt on and off that way then. But it would be a lot more secure, and I think this is actually might be a little bit bent just after that. I've mostly done work with the belt flat, and I didn't experience that vibration as much. I also was actually working over here on this side previously, on previous jobs I've done with this thing. So this work stop isn't the greatest. I haven't really experienced that with this work platform, but then again, I'm not on the far side with the disc coming up. So let me switch that out really fast and see how the work platform behaves with this as well. Alright, I've got the work table in place up here now instead of this little sheet metal work rest. We'll see if it does any better with the vibration, although you can already see it deflects a bit when you push down on the far side. Alright, here we go. You can see there was still some vibration. There wasn't nearly as much this time, but you still got, pretty flimsy performance over here. It's quite a bit better over on this side. So there you have it. This is an okay belt sander. I'm not really blown away by it. The pros it's got going for it, it's got plenty of power for the size of belt and discs that I'm working with. I never had it bog down or slow down perceptibly. It's got a good footprint, and it's got good versatility and adjustability as far as, you can move this upright easily. You can switch out the work table for either area, but overall I still can't really recommend it based on the workmanship and quality defects I found in it. And the flimsy work stops are kind of a big deal as well, because if these are vibrating all over the place, you're not going to be able to turn out good, accurate results. There are a couple other sanders at this same price point. I think they're all clones of each other. General International is the standout here as far as they have a unique design. They're all the same footprint, but it doesn't share components like all the other ones do. And they're all about the same price point, coming in at $120. I'd really wait till this one goes on sale if I was going to buy it. Otherwise, I might actually consider looking at something else, because there's just enough with the stability and the quality control that it's lacking in quite a few areas. So hopefully this review was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments section below, and once again, don't forget to subscribe.